We're diving in today. We are talking about predictions with your boy Tristyn Spann-Ford. He's back. We're back. We're ready to go here at Locked On Golden Gophers.
You are Locked On Golden Gophers, your daily podcast on the Minnesota Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Gopher fans? You're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name's Kane Rob, host of the podcast, former collegiate football video coordinator and recruiting assistant here to talk Golden Gophers with you each and every day of the week, Monday through Friday. I feel like I say that so often that I can just easily just blah, 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 and we just get going. But we're back with our co-host once a week during the football season, your boy Tristyn Spann-Ford, year 3 of predictions. Now, things to know about Tristyn Spann-Ford if you're a new listener, if you haven't seen this show before, most importantly, he's a great father, great husband, got the strongest bench press in the Spann-Ford households, and he likes to pretend he's unbiased for the Gophers, but he can talk himself into any game being a victory. Oh yeah, and his brother officially made the Dallas Cowboys 53-man roster. Let's get it. Brevyn Spann-Ford, congrats to him, but let's go. How you doing? How you feeling? How are you, Tristyn?
Feels good. It feels very good. I'm very excited. My kids are a year older, and a lot of the two youngest ones are that much easier to watch football with now because they're getting locked in more. And so we have a household full of people who are excited for football season. You know, I count down the days. I rip off the calendar, just waiting. There's nothing all summer. I could care less. Just get me to fall. Give me the fall.
Sir. Yes, sir. I'm right there with you. And they're ready for the highs. They're ready for the victories, and they're ready for the heartbreak that we always feel in Minnesota fashion. Hopefully we don't feel as much this season, but it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a big season for the Gophers. 18 teams in the Big Ten now. We've got the Cali schools inbound and playing them this year. You've got Washington and Oregon coming over, not playing them this year. The Gophers aren't. But let's talk about this upcoming season. Do you have any hot takes, any spicy takes as far as things that stand out for you for the Gophers in 2024?
As far as the Gophers team, when I'm looking at it on paper, I want to say this year will be the most consistent line play of all of that we've seen in a while. Like, everything on paper shows that we should have a very good offensive line, and I love the defensive line. As you know, I loved them last year. You add Jackson Howard this year. Like, I love it. When I think it was last week, PJ was talking about he's going to have guys rotating in on the line, and I love it. We're going to have fresh legs. Everyone's going to get after it. So I think it'll be, on paper, we should have very consistent line play on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I'm with you. In my preseason breakdowns of the groups, I gave the Gophers my 5th overall in the Big Ten. Actually, I might have said 4th overall in the Big Ten Conference for offensive lines. Now, hopefully they don't let me down there, but you've got Ariante Ursery, who is getting some first-round NFL draft hype, so hopefully he can maintain that and be the next Gopher first-round pick. We've only seen Rashad Bateman do it in the PJ Fleck era. Hopefully we can see him there. I think Newbin should have got in there, but, you know, he got a little dinged up, and people started to sleep on him. He is balling out in the preseason. People are like, whoa, this dude is flying. I'm like, yeah, get used to it. We saw it each and every Saturday.
Check the tape.
Yes. Speaking of Gophers in the NFL, we got to mention your brother. So how pumped are you that he made the roster, but also any insight? Are we keeping the number 47? Are we rocking with it? Is there a reason we picked 47, or what are we thinking there?
God, I hope not. When you tell me, the first thing I said to him is, why are you 47? Or do we have to be 47? It's the first thing in my mind. I don't know. I don't care how practice was, what's going on with the number situation. Obviously, we're not going to get 88. That's fair. That's fair. Fine. So I'm hoping now that he's officially on the roster, we'll get a different spot. But today was stressful. All morning I was at work. I'm refreshing Twitter, looking on random Cowboys blogs. And so when he finally texted me, I was like, whew, it was a relief.
Bro, I feel you. You almost have to feel part of what you see in those Hard Knocks videos where it's like, they're pulling people in and stuff. I'm like, man, good thing the Cowboys aren't on this year, but also like, I can't imagine Brevyn too. Like, we've seen those hard knocks seasons year after year, off season after off season. Brevyn's living that life right now. So it was just like, I was also checking Twitter like, man, I hope he makes it, hope he gets through. But I imagine if he wouldn't have, and luckily we don't have to go down that route, I think other teams would have been calling ahead of him getting on a practice squad spot for the Cowboys. And I think they realized that, and they probably were like, you know what, we can't do that. He's got to stay on our squad. And I'm happy that Brevyn Spann-Ford is there. The last Cowboys game, he was the highest graded PFF player on the entire roster. So he's showing out and he's looking to make a name for himself in Dallas. And look, I'm a Packer fan. You're a Viking fan. Brevyn Cowboys apparel anytime I can.
Honestly,
my hands on a jersey or something like that so I can show love that way. But I'm super stoked for you and the family and everybody.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, we were down there last weekend, just kind of checking them out, and got to check out the last preseason game. And my dog is attacking me right now. We got to check out the last preseason game. So we were in the pro shop, and me and my oldest, we got a T-shirt, and it kind of burnt a little bit putting it on. As soon as the star touched me, I was like, ugh. But then as soon as he made the squad today, I was like, let's do this. All right, buddy, you need to go somewhere.
Hey, visit with the puppy. I love it.
Crazy.
I love it. But
it's
look,
crazy.
I mean, family over everything. Family over everything.
Absolutely.
So
I put the hat on, and I was like, okay, it's our year. It's our year.
I'm official. I mean,
about to go get me some shorts.
Right, get some shorts. Even if he would have made the Packers, you would have rocked some green and yellow. And I know it'll cut you deep, but I know family is over everything. So
yeah, that's how it was.
You can act like you wouldn't, but you would. Anyways, let's get back.
It's our year. It's our year. I can't wait. It'll be Vikings and Vikings Cowboys NFC Championship.
But then who are you pulling for to win?
Brev,
all right, we're gonna move.
No, that's Brev. Super Bowl or nothing. Super Bowl or bust. It's Brev. It's Brev.
We're gonna move to the next question. I want to talk about players you're excited for on this season, or games on the schedule you're looking forward to. Either one of those questions or both. Let me know your thoughts on who are people that you're excited to see on the field for the maroon and gold.
Oh, the names. Like I mentioned before, Jackson Howard. I'm super excited to see what he can do. Coming home, like it was a big time recruit when we were still recruiting him, and when he left, it was a disappointment, or chose to go to LSU. So I'm super excited. But like I said, I'm so high on this defensive line, like I was last year too. But Danny Stroud, Ja Joyner, I'm just super excited to see another year under their belt, another camp under their belt. That's such an integral part of the game, especially in college football. I think stopping the run, and I know last year we had some disappointment as far as how many yards our defense gave up, but it'll just be exciting to see what they can do after another year. So.
No, absolutely. I'm with you. One guy on the defensive line I am absolutely stoked for. I'm on the hype train. I'm leading the hype train. I'm ready for it. Devin Eastern. I think that dude is going to be a mammoth, a beast, a monster for this defensive line. Another player that I've been gassing up, and I am just excited for him to get opportunities to play this season. Redshirt freshman, Zaquan Bryan. I talk to some of the recruits each and every year, and he's one of the guys I talk to in his class. And he's just a great kid, great head on his shoulders, but he has a fire in his gut ready to go. And so I can't wait for this dude to ball out. I think he's going to be the cornerback 3 for the Gophers this year, behind Justin Wally and Ethan Robinson, who are both in their final year. So he could play his way into a starting role in 2025. But the one name on the offense that we have to talk about, Max Brosmer. Max Brosmer is a name I feel like every Gophers fan is on the edge of their seats to see what is quarterback play going to look like for the Gophers, starting with North Carolina, but all season. What are your thoughts with this highly productive quarterback coming from the FCS, having been a Walter Payton Award finalist, which is the FCS Heisman? How excited are you for a new quarterback after some struggles back and forth last season?
I'm super excited. I think he's going to bring a level of consistency that is going to be unmatched. Like the consistency is what I'm mostly excited about. I talked to he threw at Pro Day, and Brev said he was slinging that thing. So he sounded very excited about it, and I was watching clips, and he looks really good. I couldn't be more excited. So.
I'm with you. So now we've got a stacked running back room. Darius Taylor leading the way. You've got hopefully a very good quarterback, and then you've got a second team all conference wide receiver in Daniel Jackson. Now, hopefully everybody's healthy. We're hearing in practice over the fall that there were some dings here and there, but it sounds like everything's minor. We're going to find out one way or another on Thursday. But the last thing I want to talk about before we get into the predictions for the North Carolina matchup is about the entire season. I want to know, do you have one player that you think will have a breakout year in 2024?
Breakout year. Ooh. I would like to see then. I'm gonna go. I mean, this would be a biased pick, but give me Nick Kelleher. I want to see what he does this year. He got a lot of snaps last year, like even playing behind Brev, and so I'm really excited for him. And he's a great guy. I really like him as a human being. So,
hey, it's
biased,
hard.
but
It's hard not to. Pierce Walsh is my favorite in that tight end room, but I don't think he's going to get a lot of time this year. I think he's a 2025 guy. But my breakout for the year, I'm going to go on the defense, and I'm going to say Maverick Baranowski. I think he started as a redshirt freshman last year when Cody went down. He looked a little lost in the sauce. It was a lot of too fast maybe for him, but he was in there. As the year went on, he got better and better. And then right when he was starting to get in his groove, right when Cody Lindenberg was coming back, Maverick gets hurt, and then he doesn't get to finish out much of the season, has kind of ups and downs here and there. I think this dude is going to play like an absolute bat out of hell this year. I think he is going to thrive in this defense that wants to be violent and fast. And I think with Cody Lindenberg on the field, he will have to be the second priority in the linebacker core for offenses. And so I think that will allow him to thrive because they're going to be so focused on avoiding Jaw Joyner and avoiding Cody Lindenberg that Maverick Baranowski, I can't say his name now. He is going to show up and be like, yo, you forgot about me. And he's going to put a stamp on his name this year. So that's my breakout player for the year. Now we're going to move to our predictions. We're going to talk about North Carolina in the week 1 game that is coming up this week. And we're going to dive into that coming up next. But first, we have to talk about some of our friends. First, I want to talk to you about our friends over at Gametime because Gametime is the ticketing app that you need to be using. If you haven't used it, it is time to get started like yesterday. Gametime is an amazing ticketing app, and they have a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime filters out the fluff, and it shows you the incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And on top of that, Gametime is made for you. They have the best, lowest price guaranteed. And on top of that, they have the seat view so you can get a panoramic view of your seat before you purchase anything. And if you make sure to toggle the all-in pricing, which is a feature, you don't have to worry about any hidden fees on the back end. So Gametime is the place to be. They also have the best ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions apply. Again, download the app, create an account, and then use promo code Locked On College. That's LOCKEDON College for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now, we also need to talk about our friends over at FanDuel because it is time. College football is here, and it's time for you to get in on the action. And you've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have a little bit something different for you now because now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5, and you get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and the current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. So definitely make sure you do that by going to FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook and take advantage of the 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket when you bet $5 or more. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, Gophers fans, we are diving in. We're talking about the predictions. We are talking about our kind of shots in the dark. We used to do over-unders right away. We'll do some of those in the third segment, but I want to talk about shots in the dark first. I want to talk about how many touchdowns do you think that this Gophers offense scores in week 1 versus the North Carolina Tar Heels? What do you got going for me? Offensive touchdown scores.
If everyone is healthy, I'd like to see I think it's going to be a battle, so I'm going to go 3 touchdowns.
All right. Tristyn's going 3 touchdowns on offense. Now, I haven't even took a shot at what my prediction is going to be for this game. So this is going to be all on the fly right now. But if I am thinking about it, the over-under used to be 50.5. It's moved down to 49.5. So pretty similar there. That means if you get close to it, you're getting about 21 to 28 points. I think the Gophers will have 3 is probably a really good number. I'm going to say 3, and they have a couple field goals. So I'm going to push you right there. I'm going to say 3 touchdowns as well. We'll see what happens. But I also want to move to more specific players now. Who do you think leads this game in tackles for the Minnesota Golden Gophers?
In tackles, I'm going to take your boy then, Devin Eastern. Like I said, it's going to be hard for me to go away from this D-line with the potential and the experience that they all have now.
That's a solid pick, especially with Omarion Hampton, the running back for the North Carolina Tar Heels. He was a Doak Walker finalist last year, meaning he was a top 3 running back in the entire country. That means they're going to try to run the ball, and that means they're going to run it up the middle for somewhat of that. And Devin Eastern's right there in the middle, hopefully eating up all of those running attempts. So that's not bad at all. I'm going to go with Cody Lindenberg. I got to do it. He's coming back. He's coming back with a ferocity. He's ready to get in and get after it after a lost season last year. I think he shows up and shows out in game 1 and has people ready to see what the hype was all about, what we've been saying for 2 years and looking forward to. He's ready to kick it off with a huge game.
I agree. He's a general, too, out there. You can see how much of a leader he is.
For sure. That dude is the heartbeat of the defense, plain and simple.
Oh, yeah.
Now, flipping it to the other side, we've talked about Max Brosmer. We've talked about the excitement there. This is a guy who's passed for over 400 yards in games, over 300 yards in many games. We'll see if he gets that opportunity with the Gophers. That's the biggest question heading into this season is, will PJ let that boy sling it? But that being said, who do you think leads the team in receiving yards in week 1?
Week 1, I mean, if he's healthy, it's got to be Daniel Jackson. I know we got I mean, I don't know what the case is there, but it's got to be Daniel Jackson. You got to find him. I would think Max Brosmer, that's got to be his first read on most pass plays. So
I'm with you. I think he needs to be the number 1 option that he is. I mean, he was an all-conference wide receiver for a reason. That being said, I am a little bit nervous with all the injury. He didn't play in a decent amount of the fall camp this year. We just don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. But for Gophers fans listening right now, a positive thing that you could see is that on Prize Picks, they have Daniel Jackson statted out. So that usually means if they have any hesitations on a player playing, they usually don't stat him out. So like North Carolina's quarterback, they don't have statted out right now because they don't know who's going to be the starter. They don't know if it's Max Johnson or Jacoby Criswell. Well, Daniel Jackson is one of the 3 Gophers to actually have stats on that app, which means he probably could be playing. It's a better guess that he is because they wouldn't take the risk on the game 1. But I'm not going to go with Daniel Jackson for this pick. I'm going to go with Elijah Spencer. I think a lot of Gophers fans might roll their eyes at me on this one because everybody just keeps talking about, oh, he had drops in the spring. Oh, he had drops in the fall. But it's like, this dude hasn't really had drops in real games that often. I think he had 1 drop on the season last year. And then the year at Charlotte where he had almost 1,000 yards receiving, he had 5 drops on the year. I'm not worried about drops with this guy. And so I think he's going to clean it up. I think we've been hearing positive news about him from the coaching staff and everybody like that. And I saw an amazing back shoulder play between him and Max Brosmer when I was at one of the practices. So I feel like he's going to step up. He's going to show he can be a solid wide receiver too. And he's going to let the Gophers fans wash away those drop talks. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's just a gut reaction. It's got to be a gut reaction. People see something and they just need to talk about football. You have to find something. So
for sure. All right. So we're going to go 2 picks on this. I'm going to go first. You've gone first on all these. So I'll go first here, but we each get 2. Who scores the first touchdown for your Minnesota Golden Gophers to open the 2024 year? I am going to say, I don't know who I'm going to say. I'm going to say we'll lock it in. Darius Taylor. We got to do it. Hopefully he's playing. Hopefully he's there. I feel like it's an easy pick on that one, but I had to take it before you did. So we're going to go with Darius Taylor.
Yep. Exactly what I was thinking. If you don't take it, I will. If I got to pick, I will go with, let me go Le'Meke Brockington. If it's not a run, maybe it's pass. Le'Meke Brockington.
All right, I'm going to go double down on the run. I'm going to go Marcus Major for my other pick, running back from OU transferring in. I know the Gopher staff really likes him. He is a big back. I believe he's like 6 foot, 215 pounds or something like that. So once we get close, I think they might give him the rock and say, go get it, big fella. So I got Marcus Major as my second pick.
Okay. Then give me, let me go Max. I'll go Max. Maybe a little keep.
Little keeper, a little tush push, something in there. You know.
Who knows?
All right. So now the final ones before we get to our predictions, I want to say, who is your offensive player of the game in this UNC matchup? Who do you think steps up and shows out for the offense?
It's not going to be the flashiest pick because nobody ever watches this, but it's going to be Ursery. It's tough, but he's not going to get the shine for it. But I think he's going to come out and really establish himself early this season as the dominant offensive lineman he is.
All right, I'm taking an easy pick. I'm taking Max Brosmer. I think that the coaches really want this Gophers fans to believe in this team. And I think that knowing that there's some questionable injuries, knowing that who knows what could happen with those type of things that are our key players, they're going to be like, look, Max, we trust you. Here's the keys. We've said we've trusted you all offseason. Now it's our time to show it. So if we need to pass the ball 40 times in this game to beat North Carolina in game 1, we're going to do it. Just like we saw, they let Ethan pass over 40 times in week 1 last year against Nebraska. This game is going to have a lot of eyes on it because it's Thursday night and it's one of the more primetime games. So I think they're going to be like, look, we're not the same old Gophers. Max Brosmer here. Let's get it done. Let's show them why we brought you here. And I think he's going to thrive. So I think Max Brosmer is going to have over 250 passing yards in this game. And I think he's going to be the player of the game.
I like that. I hope you're right in the case of letting them throw the ball more. Like, I hope we can do it all season and stay consistent and not curl back into our run shell.
Yes. All right. Defensive player of the game before our final score predictions. So I'm going to run this out first. Defensive player of the game. It's tough because T. Newbin is not in that backfield no more. So who am I going with? I'm going to go with Justin Wally. I think Justin Wally is going to prove that he is still an NFL name to be on the watch for. Now, Justin Wally had a down year last year for most people, but if you actually look at his stats, he had 41 tackles, 8 pass breakups, an interception, and a forced fumble. So, like, if that's a down year, let me see a good year. Like, I'm ready for it, and I think he can kick it off versus North Carolina and put people back on notice. So I'm going Wally. Who do you have for defensive player of the game?
I like that pick. That's a good pick. I think that's another recency bias. People see one play where you're like, oh, what was happening, and forget about all the great plays that you had. Mm-hmm. Give me Cody Lindenberg. Like you said, I think he's going to show up and really reinsert himself and, kind of start this season off right, make up for lost time, essentially.
All right, it's time for the score predictions before we get to over-unders and then a couple key questions on the week to wrap up this show. But first, let's do score predictions. What is your score for this game?
All right. I said we score 3 touchdowns. I also think Dragon is going to put a couple through the upright, or at least one. So we'll go 24. Give me 24-21.
Nice. I have to switch mine up now because I was literally typing in my score right when you said it, and I typed in Minnesota 24. So now I got to think about what is this North Carolina score. I definitely would have said 21. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think that the Vegas line is 1.5 points. I don't think it should be towards North Carolina, but let them hate. Let them sleep. Let us be the underdogs. I'm going to go 28-27. Now that seems too high. I've been telling people to take the under on the points like for 3 weeks now. So I feel like I'm breaking my own logic on that one. I'm trying to think, if you go 17, let's say Dragon gets 3 field goals. I'm going to say 23-21. We're going to go 1 point under you. Okay. So Minnesota has 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals for 23 points, and UNC gets 3 touchdowns. Yep, I'm going with that. 23-21. I undercut you by 1 point. Hopefully that gets me the victory in this one. Regardless, I think either one of us would just be happy if the Gophers get a dub. But we're going to wrap up today's show talking some over-unders. So if you're on Prize Picks, if you're on Underdog or anything like that, you're going to want to tune in and hear our thoughts on that one. Hopefully we can help you make a little bit of money. And then we're going to talk about 3 questions on this week and who we think could be an unsung hero, what gives us confidence, and what is the biggest worry in week 1. We're talking about that coming up next. First, let's talk about our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Because look, if you're getting ready to go to this Gophers game, I'm guessing you're going to be prepped and ready. You're going to be hyped. You might wake up at 5 in the morning, ready, wired, and ready for game time. And game time is until 7 p.m. So that means you're going to go from 5 a.m. all the way through the end of game time. If you're me and you're sitting in the media press or after and whatnot, I might be there till midnight. I might be there till 1 in the morning, and I can't get it done without my friends 5 Hour Energy, because it's that energy shot that you can take and make sure you get everything done and keep going and then some, with 0 sugar and a convenient portable size. It's the perfect pick-me-up for getting stuff done. The 5 Hour Energy website has flavors galore like watermelon, tropical burst, grape, berry, and so much more. So you're definitely going to want to give it a try. And if you go to 5hourenergy.com, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, and get some 5 Hour Energy product today, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONCFB and get 20% off your order. So that offer is valid until the end of September. So make sure you try and do it. And you can't use it with other promotions, but use that code today, LOCKEDONCFB, for 20% off your order. Go to 5 Hour Energy. That's the number 5hourenergy.com today. All right, Gophers fans, we are wrapping this one up. We're going to do 5 quick fire over-under stats for this game, and then we're going to do 3 questions. So the quick fire, I want your immediate reaction. Max Brosmer over-under 176.5 yards. Now, I've already answered this in my prediction. I think he's getting 250, so I'm taking the over, but what do you have for this one?
I'm going to ride with you on it. That's an over.
All right, quick fire on the other side of the ball. Omarion Hampton, like I said, a top 3 back in the nation last year. Now, the Gophers' run defense was really bad to end the year, especially Braylon Allen ripped us apart. Travion Henderson ripped us apart. It felt like every running back beyond week 6 was just tearing us a new one. They have a new defensive coordinator. They have their linebackers healthy, so it could be a different story, but Omarion Hampton is a beast. They have his line set at the over-under of 99.5 yards. So do you think their running back gets 100 yards or more, or do you think he stays under 100? What do you got?
I honestly, I know it sounds like a homer, but I really do think it's going to be an under. This defense is going to come out firing. They're aged. They're ready to rock.
I'm going to flip on you. Maybe I'll get a point on it, but I'm going to say over. Hopefully it's not too far over, but I think that he is just truly 1 in a million. And so I think even if he is going over, I'm really starting to doubt myself, because he was on the team last year. We played them last year in his top 3 running back year, and I think he had like 50 yards. So I'm switching. I'm going under, because you know what? We shut him down with this defense that struggled last year, and then Drake Maye tore us a new one. So hopefully that's not the case.
We'll always have that first quarter. We'll always have the first quarter.
I'm going to go under 100, but I do think he outproduces what he had last year. Maybe he gets to like 80 something. 3 more lines. JJ Jones, their wide receiver, over under 45.5 yards.
I'm going to take an over on that one.
Right. I'm going to go under, because I remember this guy on their team named Nate McCullum, who didn't do anything all year except for against the Gophers, where he had 165 yards and like 1 or 2 touchdowns. So I think he's just going to come alive again, if anything, or I think they target other receivers. I'm not sure JJ Jones gets enough looks in this one. So I'm going to take the under on his number. Now, the final 2 are Gophers. The first one is Daniel Jackson. Like I said, they do have him statted out over on Prize Picks. So Daniel Jackson over under 61.5 yards.
Hammer the over, especially if we think Max is going to do what he's going to do.
That is fair. If we think Max is going to ball and have over 200 yards and Daniel Jackson is playing, you have to take the over there. It doesn't make sense not to. That means if you take the under and you think Max has like 250 yards, that means Elijah Spencer's balling, Lemecki's balling, maybe some of the young guys, Nuke Hayes, Kendrick Lanier, all balling. And you know what? I wouldn't mind that either. If that's what we want to do, I'll take it. But I think Daniel Jackson, if healthy, is going to break 1,000 yards this year. And if he breaks I believe 1,200 yards, he could be a top 3 receiver of Gophers history. So I think it all starts week 1 against North Carolina. I'm taking over on 61.5. The final one is Darius Taylor. Now, there's been some hesitation with the injury in the practice. There's been other backs, and PJ keeps saying we have a lot of depth. That's why we got the depth and stuff like that. So people are getting hesitant, but his line is 68.5 yards. Now, if Darius Taylor is playing, bro, I would take this straight to the bank, because Darius Taylor is a dude who got like over 100 yards in almost every game he played. He averaged 133 yards per game last season, and that was with a couple bang ups here and there. This dude is a beast. So I need 68.5. Bro, if you give me 15 touches with Darius Taylor, we're breaking 70 yards. I'm taking that over.
That over is the easiest thing ever. He steps on the field, and they honestly, I've seen them show up and they just put the 100 on his stat sheet before the game even starts, because they don't need to do the calculations till after 100. So if he is 100% healthy and gets all the carries, oh yeah, it's easy.
All right, so my final 3 questions to wrap up today's show. The first one is, what is your biggest worry in this game?
Biggest worry is always going to be play calling consistency. I want them to let Max throw the ball. Let him be a quarterback who throws the ball. Like, we don't need to be conservative. Just let it rip. Like, looking at our schedule, even, I mean, we have some challenging games, and nobody thinks we're going to be a national champion this year. So just let it rip. See what we can do, not running the ball a million times on 3rd and 20.
All right, my biggest one is going to be defense. It's going to be stopping the run. We have a new defensive coordinator. We struggled with stopping the run last year. We couldn't get off the field on 3rd downs, and now we're playing one of the best running backs in the country. So that means you don't get a warm-up period. You don't get the opportunity to go play Rhode Island like you do in week 2 or Nevada in week 3. You got to go out right away in game 1 and show that you can stop the run, and they're going to test you right away, knowing what happened to you. So the Gophers are going to get tested, and hopefully they can answer the call. That's my biggest worry in this one. Now, the second question, I'll let you think while I answer, is what gives you confidence in this game. I think my biggest confidence factor in this game is having a more experienced quarterback. I think overall, look, I was a big Ethan advocate. Like, I recognized he had his struggles. I recognized he's had room to improve, but like, I saw the talent, and I also just believed in, like, this guy has the will to get it done. But it didn't work out. Now, Max Brosmer is completely different. He's a quarterback who's been through it all. He's a quarterback who trains with Jalen Hurts and CJ Stroud and the same quarterback coaches as those guys. And those coaches I've spoken with, and they're like, this dude is an NFL caliber player. And this is his opportunity. I don't think it's going to be too big for him. You heard Tristyn say Brevyn Spann-Ford threw with him at the pro day, and he was like, this dude has it. Like, I think that having that experience and being able to hit the easy throws, being able to hit the underneath, being able to hit the 5-yard curl route and not gun it too high or too fast or anything like that, but just put it on the money, that's going to be a difference maker, and that's what gives me confidence in this game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It just feels, I don't know, something fresh about it. I mean, again, also Ethan advocate here, but it feels like a fresh start with an experienced offensive line, to where it's not, hey, we got a new quarterback, but we also have 3 new guys on the offensive line where, you know, we're all learning together. It's literally like, hey, we know what we're doing. We trust you. Go out there and sling that thing.
For sure. All right, the final question I have for you to wrap up today's prediction show is, who will be the unsung hero in week 1 versus North Carolina? What one player do you think it might not be a player of the game. It might just be one play that gets it done. But what is the player that is the unsung hero in this one?
Unsung hero. I do feel a Justin Wally interception. And that's what I thought of right away in my gut. So I'm going to stick with it. So give me a Justin Wally interception. And it might not even be, it's not like a pick 6 or anything crazy, but it shifts momentum in a certain way where that's where you knew, like, okay, that's what changed the game.
All right. I was going to go similar. I was going to do that with Jack Henderson, but I'm going to shift away because you did that. I am going to say Anthony Smith has a huge tackle. I don't know if it's a run stop, tackle for loss, or if it's a sack, but I think he has one play where he just blows it up and it forces the North Carolina Tar Heels to either give the ball up, turnover on downs, punt it, what have you. But I think he's going to have a huge stop in a critical moment that the Gophers end up needing and can hopefully pull away with the win. This was fun. I like those questions. I like being able to talk a little less numbers and talk a little more thoughts on the game. So we're going to go with this type of approach for the prediction shows moving forward. If you ever have any questions, if you ever have any thoughts or things you want us to talk about in that first segment, drop them in the comments on YouTube and we'll definitely chop it up on that, because look, this is a show where we come to have fun. We come to talk about your Gophers. We always continue to row, rain or shine. I mean, we came back after that Northwestern loss last year, and these two, you and me, we were talking so much trash about it's Northwestern. Northwestern's going to Northwestern, and then Minnesota Northwestern at Northwestern. I mean, it was just baffling, but we came back and we're ready to do it again all season. I'm happy to have you back, Tristyn, and that is going to do it for us here at Locked On Golden Gophers. Be sure to tap in every week for the predictions and every day for your Gophers coverage. Until next time, we'll see you then. Row the boat, Sky Imago Gophers as always, and don't forget to hit subscribe.